We're taking a look back to January 31st to see how many big names were on the move to Western Conference contenders. And it is remarkable. I mean, we're talking an arms race right now in the West. And for so long, we talked about the Eastern Conference as being the better conference. Well, I don't know. Right now, it looks just about even, if not tilting in the favor of the Western Conference, especially when you look at some of these teams that now look like all-star teams. What do you think?
I think I got 8 or 9 teams I would say are cup contenders, and 6 of them are in the West.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the West is deep. I mean, it makes me laugh because, we know how Mike Rupp feels about Sidney Crosby, right? His boy loves it.
Yes.
I think his favorite player after Crosby might be Brandon Duhaime. Like, he loves this guy. And it was like, someone's got to get Brandon Duhaime. Colorado's one of the smartest organizations, I feel, in the league in the moves they make, and they get them. Winnipeg, I like what they did. Edmonton, Dallas, remember when they get Tanev, we're thinking, this is a team that was already going deep last year that's already really good.
Yep.
These 2-3 matchups in the West, Reader, are going to be mini Stanley Cup finals with the quality of teams.
Yeah, it's the West is top heavy. I mean, the weaker teams are also in the West.
Yep.
But the top heavy teams, like, it's going to be difficult. The Metropolitan Division is still, they're trying to figure themselves out.
Yeah.
In the East, you can say there's 2 teams in the Metropolitan, and then away you go. The East and the Atlantic is strong enough, but in the West, like the Central Division, the Pacific Division, and the wild card, you got the Golden Knights in the last wild card position. Like this, it is going to be. I mean, that's why teams are building up, because they just want that edge. They want the depth of whether it's on the back end, whether it's up front. You want that edge. And it's not about winning the Stanley Cup. It's about, we've got to get through the first round. We've got to survive the first round. We talk about all the injuries at the end of the Stanley Cup final and the players that are injured and the impact it has. It's a war of attrition. You've got to have extra bodies, and you've got to have talent. For Vegas to add Hertl, Mantha, and Hanifin, those are 3 solid players. You're talking, top line forwards, top defensemen who can play offense and defense, and Noah Hanifin.
Yeah.
And to win, you have to have the depth. We saw it last year. We see it every year. Vegas has done that. That's why we're seeing all these teams add. And it's not, trust me, the GMs are not sitting there going, oh boy, they got this, we better get that. They know what they want to start with. And they are going to concern themselves with getting what they want. And they're going to figure a way out to add to their rosters. We saw that in Winnipeg. Dallas adding Tanev on the back end, I think that's a huge move. I'm a huge Chris Tanev fan. The way he can defend, the way he is physical, the way he blocks shots, the penalty killing ability that he's got on a team that's already strong defensively. And he may not be the sexiest player available at trade deadline, but as far as fitting a need for your team and a depth move on your team, I think those are the moves that, to me, are the ones that'll pay the biggest dividends come playoff time.
Yeah.
You've seen every year we see all sorts of players get traded, big name guys get traded, and boom, you get to the second round, they're done.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's tough. But it's those little depth moves that teams make that on a long playoff run.
You calling Tanev a little depth move?
No, but I'm saying it's but it is. He's the type of player. No, but he's the type of player that plays playoff hockey every day of the year.
Yes.
And when playoffs start, he'll do everything and pick it up to another level. And those are the players that you can't have enough of if you want to be successful in the playoffs. And Chris Tanev's not going to go out and score all the power play goals, but he is going to be a significant player in Dallas through the rest of the season and a playoff run, because he has that ability to play solid hockey night in and night out. And that's, to me, what you need. It's like picking up Florida, picking up Kyle Oposo. I think that's a smart move. You're filling a depth player, an experienced depth player who can play. If you need to throw him on a first line, you can say, I need you quickly on a power play. He's done that, been there, done that. I need you to kill a penalty. Hey, I can do it. I need you to go out and be physical and just get in hard in a forecheck. He's been there, done that. Those are the players, to me, that are so big in playoff runs. And I play with Mike Keane. And Mike Keane, we got Mike Keane and Brian Skrulin in Dallas from the New York Rangers in 1999. They were such big parts of our team because they could play in all positions, in all roles, and it was all about team with those two guys. And we won the cup with them, and we wouldn't have won it without them. They were that important to our team. And when I look at teams picking up players, they weren't the sexiest names out there. They weren't big splashes, but you know what? They were very much a huge part of us winning the championship. And that's, to me, what this day is all about. It's filling the voids on your team, adding pieces to your team. your power plays didn't jump 10%. But our team got better by 10% by
That's
adding those
huge,
guys.
yeah.
And that's what today is all about. Yeah, we talk about the big trades and all this and that, but at the end of the day, it's the depth that you're adding to your team and making your team tougher to play against.
It's about
the toughest
fit
time.
and about roles, right? And you think about Vegas winning a cup last year, Barbashev.
Huge.
You think about Colorado the year before, Lehkonen.
Yep.
Those are guys, to your point, I think, that kind of fit in that mold that are huge, for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned Colorado, and I know you said earlier you think they're one of the smartest organizations right now in the National. They were certainly busy. You can even add Zach Parise on this list for all I'm concerned about because he's a huge addition as well and has already scored a handful of goals in a short time there. So what do you like best about what they've done, and why are they primed for success?
Well, to address the second line center position, which they absolutely had to do, and that was a rare miss with Johansson, and there was some risk there, and you could see the upside. It didn't work out, whatever. They had to give up a good defenseman to get him. But they brought in Walker, who is kind of similar in a lot of ways to a Bowen Byram, whereby Philly was a team that rushes their D all the time and gets a fourth guy into the rush. And Walker was probably the guy that was the most active of Philly's defensemen doing that. Defensively, he's got a little more edge than Byram and kill plays pretty well. So that's nice to do that, to allow you to then go get Casey Mittelstadt.
Yeah.
Really nice, kind of sneaky 5-on-5 point producer the last couple of years. That's a good add. They add a little bit more kind of snarl in their lineup as well with some other moves they made. I like Duhaime a lot. Mike Rupp loves Duhaime. We know that. And they just often don't miss, and they seem to have a really good idea of the tweaks their team needs. And it's not always those big, splashy names because they've got those guys already.
Right.
And you think about Nichushkin's coming back.
Yes.
And
tonight.
Yeah, and I don't even think you can mention Gabe Landeskog because if it does happen, and boy, what a win that would be.
Yeah.
Great, but I think you go planning that it might not. The team, you watch them play lately, I mean, they're a wagon. They're really good. The thing I'm surprised with Colorado, Reader, is Georgiev's been playing a ton. Annanen's been playing pretty well lately. If he can play like that as a backup, you're fine, but it's an if. Georgiev's been playing a ton, and if anything happens there, it might torpedo the whole thing. I thought maybe they
did it back in the bubble. It was terrible. They were down to the third string goalie.
Try to get another guy with a little more experience.
Like a Jake Allen.
Like a Jake Allen.
Like that's kind of where I thought Jake Allen may have ended up with in Colorado. But I like what the Avs did by getting some, Duhaime, they got some size, they got some grit.
Yeah.
They got rid of McDermott, so there's kind of moving him to New Jersey. Casey Mittelstadt to me is still. He's not to the level that everybody expected him to get to.
He's unproven, for sure.
But he should be proven. He's played long enough.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a red flag. And that could be, but they're desperate.
But a tough team in Buffalo.
His last year and a half, you don't think he's been a guy that can be a two-center on a good team?
Well, we're going to find out. And I like Casey Mittelstadt, but I think the return of giving up Bo Byron, that's to me could be a lot for a player that is not going to fit. They want to get another Nazem Kadri. That's what they're looking for. They didn't get Nazem Kadri. Like, he's not even close to what you're getting with Nazem Kadri. And Kadri, the year that they won the Cup in Colorado, his points were crazy. But that wasn't Nazem Kadri, the regular. He's a 30-goal scorer. He did it before he went to Colorado and Toronto for multiple years. That's what they got. For Casey Mittelstadt, he's going to be in for a very, I would say, shocking experience, put it that way, when he gets into practice with this team and he realizes
that could be great for him.
Oh, I trust me. I hope it is, because the West plays a different style. It's a faster-paced game. Colorado plays a faster-paced game than most teams in the National Hockey League.
And the standard is sky high with McKinnon.
He's going to have a month and a half to catch up to pace.
Sure.
Like, you watch the games, this team plays a fast pace.
Yep.
And if you're not going to be able to keep up, it's not going to go very well.
You know what, though? The way Jared Bednar and that coaching staff prepares that team to play, the way that they scout their opponents, Casey Mittelstadt is going to go into an environment that he hasn't been in before, that I think will give him an advantage as well. So he'll benefit from being where he is also.
Yeah, no, I hope he does.
You're just worried about whiplash for him.
Well, I'm still an Avs fan. I want a cup there. I still like to see the organization do well.
You're just not sure.
I'm just not sure the return. I was huge. I was like, oh my gosh, you traded a stud defenseman who's like hasn't even hit the prime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they just don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? And I'm a believer. You win with more defense. And they're relying maybe on Sam Girard to be the guy. Sam Girard wasn't there when they won the Cup. He was injured when they won the Cup. And if you're going to put Girard in use that offense and
They have Cale Makar.
so yeah, I know that they've got
haven't
Makar and
mentioned his
Taves,
name
but
yet.
I'm thinking Byron's a pretty good. And to me, that I was shocked when I
So
heard.
here's a question that I'd have for you then, Reader. Are they better off having Byram and Johansson, which I think became untenable,
Right.
or Walker and Middlestat? Because I would say Walker and Middlestat. But you can disagree if you want. That's effectively what they did there.
Yeah, you know what? I guess 100%. I'm still not sold that Casey Middlestat is my number 2C.
Okay.
That to me is still, he hasn't proven to me in a long enough term that he can do it. He's not going to see the power play time, so his stats aren't going to be power play stats.
He's been great at 5-on-5 though.
That's where he's going to have to be great. But
Yeah.
but he's also now playing in a much different environment, much different division.
Big and heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And fast.
But
Big,
only-
heavy, and
yeah.
fast. It's a completely different element. Trust me. I played in East. I don't care what decade it is. It's always the difference. The conferences have a different style of play. And that's the fun thing. And boy, when I went to Dallas in '96, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, exhibition games, I was like, oh, we don't play this fast. Why is everybody going everywhere out here? This pace was incredible.
Yeah.
And Colorado was, my last 5 years, Dallas and Colorado, the pace was incredible. And the players I played with were incredible. And it's still, there's differences in the conferences. And it's fun. It's like, hey, I'm going to watch, you can come out and you can watch a Ranger, let's say Ranger Islander game, or in the Metro, or you can watch a Dallas, Colorado, or a Winnipeg, Colorado. Who do you think is going to probably be a faster style of game?
I know which one
The
I
West.
watched.
It's just that's the style of play, and that's where I'm looking. That's what I'm saying. Casey Middlestat came into Buffalo, huge talent. To me, he still hasn't proven that he can be a 2C on a top team. You can be a 2C on the bottom teams in the league. There's plenty of those guys
There's
out
only
there.
one way to find out.
Yeah, I know there is, and I'm
Find out.
saying,
And I
but it's
bet
a
you-
risky acquisition to give up a young defenseman. They gave up, and that to me, and I hope it works out well for both teams, and I hope that Casey Middlestat steps in and shows to everybody, because I'm not the only one who doesn't.
I
know, but I'm just saying. I'm not the only one that thinks, wow, this could be risky. This could be
100%.
risky
You're
for Denver, for
spot on.
Colorado, but they feel they have to do it.
I just think that they really knew the Ryan Johansson thing wasn't working.
I think that's a huge part.
They were-
no,
It's a huge part.
absolutely.
They needed to move him out.
Well, you didn't ask me about Ryan Johansson before they picked him up, did you? I would have told you my thoughts on
I
that
bet
one
you
at the time,
saw- I bet
too.
you saw-
Because I shook my head on that one. I was like, are
Oh
you
my
kidding me?
I bet
But
you
anyhow.
somebody out there somewhere, Reader, said, Dave Reed, I don't know, can you play in Dallas? Can you play in Colorado? Can you play that fast? You did it.
You did it.
Yeah,
And you learned really quickly, and then
Yeah.
you won the cup, and then you won a cup again.
Yeah, but I wasn't a 2C. I was a third, fourth line penalty killer role player on the
I know.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
there were plenty of me out there.
I just think there is a high potential ceiling on Casey Middlestat. And
I agree with you.
We've been saying it for 7 years or whatever.
Yes, I know.
But-
I agree with you.
But it's
You
been
know
going
what?
like this. It hasn't been going like that.
Yes, no,
And-
I agree with you there too. But
And you can
fingers crossed. And I love to see him do well. He's got a heck of a talent. He's like,
Worst case scenario,
I mean-
McKinnon can triple shift.
Let's be real, though. Let's be real. He was in Buffalo. Like not to clomp all
Right.
over the same,
So-
but maybe he will do better. Maybe he will thrive in a
O'Reilly,
competitive environment.
Jack Eichel.
Yes, and look at
Examples.
Eichel.
I'm not putting him in that ilk.
hold on. Do not even mention those three in the same conversation. Like those O'Reilly and Jack Eichel are like head and shoulders.
They are.
ahead of Casey
They also found
Middlestat.
another gear when they went to a more
new
competitive
place.
team. And Middlestat might not go where they went.
Jack
but he might
Eichel had
find
a pretty
another
good gear when he was in Buffalo.
He was the
Eichel
best
was-
two-way center I've seen him ever be in
Well,
Vegas.
he learned to play without the puck.
Right.
But in Buffalo, he was
was very good.
He was dynamic.
He was very
It's fun
good.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, and I'm not slamming Casey Middlestat. He is what he is. He's going to have to be another level
Yep.
for
Yeah.
Colorado to
Yeah.
get to where they want to be
Yep.
this year in the playoffs.
I think Casey
And it's
is
gonna
out
be-
there somewhere watching and saying, I am going to prove it today.
I know. I hope he does. I hope he does.
I can do this.
I hope
can
he does.
play with the abs and I can
I'd
thrive.
like to see the heart monitor that he's got on after his first
Well,
full
the
practice.
altitude.
because
he said he was sweating more than he has in a while.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Because it's a pace, and that's the thing. It's a pace, and it's one thing to play at a high pace once, in a game here and there. But when
Yeah.
you have to do it every single day and practice, and you're chasing these guys,
You might lose some weight.
No, but it's how fast you can get up, and can your game keep up with that pace day after day after day? And he's
Real quick, Colorado's got a pretty specific system, and some guys struggle a little bit with it in the beginning. I think Miles Wood, I think Ross Colton, maybe a little bit at the start of the year. It's an adjustment, right?
Yeah, but he's got about 6 weeks.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
He's got enough time. I hope it goes well. I'm still just shocked that.
You just love Bowen Byron.
No, I did.
I'm just like
you're trading. You win with
takeaway.
defense, and you're trading a young stud defenseman. And I'm like, oh.